Jake, obviously you've had more than enough time to have a look at what went wrong the last time you played these guys. What are the sort of high notes of that?
Well, look, Sam, I know that we're probably going to go round and round on certain things. They've had our number, to be fair, this competition. But to be fair, they've had a lot of teams' numbers. They're probably they are the form team of this competition since it started. Played one final, played another final, lost narrowly. Obviously what they do very well. They've got a very settled coaching staff that have been together for 10, 15 years almost at Province, whether it be through Vodacom or junior ranks. So they've probably got a lot more time that they've had to get together and plan things and do things well. Whereas the answer that I have to people is we still in the process of, we're getting better, and I'm much happier about where we are now in year 3 compared to we were in year 1. And the things that we need to do, simply is we just got to play our best rugby. We've never really played really well against them. They don't allow you to, because they obviously got a very good defensive side. But we've played Saracens here and played really well. We've played Bordeaux here and played very well. We've played Leinster here. Okay, it doesn't matter what caliber of Leinster side, but we played really well against Leinster. One side we probably haven't clicked against is the Stormers, and there's, as I said, there's reasons for that. They do what they do very well. We just got to find a way in which we can nullify the things they do well, and that's generally what the message is we've got to just play as well as we can, and we know we can.
How tempting is it to get dragged into thinking about breaking the streak instead of winning a game on Saturday?
To be fair, I'm not even worried about that. Breaking the streak, as I said, they are the form team of the comp. Since this comp started, they've played in 2 finals, and that's more than Leinster. And Leinster are by far the most complete team in this competition, and they haven't got to 2 finals. So when you put that in perspective, you've got to give Stormers credit for what they've achieved. And a lot of sides haven't got it right against them, because what they do well. I don't talk about how long, where, how many. It's another game. We played well at Loftus. We played well against good teams at Loftus, and I'm just expecting us to grow as a group and get better and better and better, which we are definitely, on that road. Because if you look where we were 3 years ago to where we are now, I've got a lot more confidence that our side's grown a lot.
Jake, the one thing they do well is their composure in those tough moments is extremely good, and the way they exploit the opposition's soft moments. Not just you guys. Sharks the other day as well. That's something you guys aren't quite there yet, but you're getting there as well.
Yeah, Brendan, the one thing they have done well in this competition is they've taken their chances. Whether they've kicked a penalty in the last minute of a game to win it, or whether they've got a bonus point try in certain games in the last play of the game or in the last few minutes of the game to make sure that they stay ahead in terms of table points. And that's one of the things we've seen, is that you need to get a top 4 and top 2, and if you want to go all the way in this competition, because it gets tough at the back end of the comp. And the one thing they've afforded themselves in the last 2 years is the ability to play at home in those big games. So that's why I think what's important about this week is we got an opportunity to stay ahead of them. I think the conference and all that, now people talk about that, but as I said to you last time, who won the Wales conference 2 years ago? It doesn't matter, So for me, it's not about winning conferences and all that. It's about staying ahead, getting the ability to play at home in the big games, and that's what our driving force is this weekend.
And obviously winning this weekend would be a good step towards that top 2 spot.
Yeah, and also not that, it's a great measurement of where we are. It's against a team that's been in 2 finals. And we're growing as a team. I've said it to you many times. We started, I'm amazed how well we did in the first 2 years, considering when I took over this group, Grobis was 22, Ulrich was 20, Ruan van Mark and Ruan Nokia were early 20s, Gerard Steenkamp early 20s. All of a sudden, when I read out their names and I see guys 26, 25, it's not old enough yet. I'd like them to have a lot more miles on the clock, but at least I feel like we're a lot closer to being a seasoned team, a seasoned, hardened team as well, which is, gives coaches and players confidence.
You guys had a dozen players in the lineman camp. It's a nice nod to the way the guys are developing as well. I suppose that the message to them is now they need to take that nod and take it further.
Yeah, look, to be fair, Brendan, I don't think you can read too much into alignment camps. You know, a lot of boys have been gone to alignment camps for the last 3 years and never played. So, and I think the message is, you know, don't do anything different. Just keep playing well for the Bulls. You'll get them. You know, you don't have to try and become a rock star or superstar overnight. You've been picked for a certain reason. They see qualities in you. And one of the things we probably haven't been good at is that when in the last couple of seasons when we've let guys go to those camps, and I'm talking about when they've been selected, they probably think they need to play like extraordinary in big games to sort of get a nod, and then probably burnt us a little bit like that. You know, you often get a guy who's not good at certain things, and he thinks if he does it in big games, you know, then he's going to get noticed, and that's probably the wrong time to do it. So the message, and again, that's part of the experience I've had with this group the last 2 years, is early on when I got the list, I let them know they were in. I didn't wait, the camp's next week, I didn't wait till this week to tell them. I mean, they've known for a month now they're going, or as long as that's been out, they know. So now they can just focus on doing what they do well. Because I think, as I said, there are a lot of guys, I don't want to mention them, but they've used these big games as almost a way of trying to make a statement, which is not in their skill set.
Jake, the previous time these two teams met here at Loftus, the Boks didn't play.
Yeah.
Nice to know that you'll be able to see Willie and Damien going, and Marnie, and Johan and all of those guys.
You know, again, Kobus, I always sort of feel like I'm repeating myself. I'm longing for the day when we have all the Springboks playing. Jason Jenkinses and the Afrikaanse Sneymans and the... I mean, I hear it could be sold out. Can you imagine if we had another 10, 15 World Cup winners running out here as well? You know, how big this would be. So, yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it's, you know, I think one of the nice things about it is, and a lot have been written and spoken about it over history, when the Northern Transvaal Western Province game, or as they're known today as the Bulls and the Stormers, is the biggest game on the calendar and people talk about it, then you're doing your job properly. You know, that's how I see it. So, you know, there were times where in the last couple of seasons where the two teams played, it wasn't a big fixture. And I take that with respect to the other guys, but now everyone's talking about this North-South derby and 12 guys in the lineman camps, and then at least, you know, as a staff, and I'm talking about not me individually, but as a group here, we know we're on the right track, because, you know, if it's full here and we have a great game of rugby, then you know, as I said, every year that derby game becomes the biggest game on the calendar. Gee, guys, then we're definitely on the right track.
Volker, is he ready to go?
Yeah, he's ready to go. Yeah, he's ready to go. Yeah. So, yeah, basically, I think everyone's fit and available, as in our Springboks. Got a couple of niggles that I'm not going to risk, but I'm very happy. Again, repeating myself from the last couple of conferences, media conferences, we've rotated. Guys have done well. They've put pressure on each other. And that's a great place to be. You know, it's nice. No one expects they're just going to walk in and play. You know, we could have played Kanan a couple of weeks ago. You know, he came back, probably didn't think he was ready, so we just went with another winger and you know, got a result. So now, you know, I can tell you he can't wait to play, because he realises there's competition for his jersey.
Jake, just on that road to becoming a complete team, how important is it to be embracing these occasions and you know, just staying intact when playing in front of these huge crowds?
You know what? You ask me that same question every week. It's and I'm saying the same is, these are the great games you want to be part of. I mean, if it's sold out, you know, then, as I said, I can't wait. I mean, that's why I coach. You know, you want to play in these big games. I think there's nothing worse than arriving at a game and there are two guys and a man and his dog. You know, and so these boys have worked hard, and they now get an opportunity to play in front of a big crowd. They get a chance to play at home. We haven't played Stormers many times at home, not with a full strength side. So it's a great measurement for us, Kobus, and I take nothing away from them. I mean, I repeat myself, they've been the form team of this comp. You know, a lot of people write about, you know, how many times we haven't beaten them and all that, but gee, you know, not many teams can put on the notch that they've beaten them in this comp the last 2 seasons, you know. So the challenge we have is we've got to get our best game in the best games and the biggest games, and this is a big one. This is now, you know, this is where we can judge ourselves and measure ourselves going forward if we have aspirations of doing well in the back end of the competition. And in Europe, you know, we've got Lyon here, and if we win that game, then we've got either Northampton or Munster again. So, you know, it's a great measurement for us, and we're not there yet. I mean, I'll be honest with you, we're not there yet. So I'm not under any false illusions about, you know, that we're the full deal yet, but I can tell you we're a lot better than we were 2 years ago when we started this competition.
Check, just lastly for me, what role sort of did Dr. Henning sort of play leading up to this game, make sure the guys...
Yeah, the one thing I will say, probably done as least as possible, because I think we don't want to make it bigger than it is. I mean, I think one thing you'll feel when we come here on Saturday and the crowd's here, we don't have to say much. You know, it's like an old derby for me. You know, it's like when I say old derby, it's like the same. People are outside buying tickets now, you know, and people are, everyone you meet is saying, yes, can't wait for the game Saturday, you know. It's a little bit like when I started coaching as a young coach, you know, when you couldn't get a ticket for a Currie Cup final game, or you couldn't, you know, it feels like that. So I don't think, to answer your question, I'm actually, as I said, I think the less we do and the less we just, you know, less we make it of it. And not that I'm saying I'm talking about internally. I think externally we'll get all our motivation anyway.
Carl, to close us off.
Jake, we just spoke about the players that must not try to pull something off, but how difficult is it for you as a coach to not pay your attention to some of the stars of the Stormers that obviously will make a big impact on them winning?
Yeah, you know, Carl, to be honest with you, the Stormers guys that are in the group have been in the group. You know, the Marnies and the Damians and all that, they're in the group. I'm talking about guys that have been invited for the first time from our group. You know, I found with, and I'll use example, I found with Ulrich Lowe when he was invited for the first time, it's almost like he wanted to play like someone else, because I think he thought if he could play, you know, offloading and running down the wing and doing things that are not the way that he plays every week, he would get earmarked. So for me, the message is clear, is that, you know, the guys who made it and the guys who understand what they need to do, the guys who've been part of it, like Kane and Kirtley, maybe Marku, they know what they expect because they've been part of those alignment camps before. For me, my concern was all the new guys that now feel on one Saturday against the Stormers, they can almost play themselves into a team, you know. And that is the lesson we learned in last seasons, is, you know, it doesn't matter what you do Saturday, and I'm talking about individually, it's more what you do as a collective for the group. That's more important for us as a Bull squad.
Great stuff.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you.